So there's something that I want to discuss right now that I've been kind of pondering and kind of like replaying in my head a lot. This scene versus this scene. They're both kind of really similar scenes. Both kind of try to go to accomplish the same thing, showing off the giant apex predator of your movie, really kind of show the flaw in human thinking in these movies. And both are kind of their showcase of the overall techniques that are applied to each respective film. But one is done leagues better than the other one, and I kind of want to take a look at why that is. First and most important is that one is far more intense than the other. The Jurassic Park scene, you are built up to the T-Rex before she is ever revealed. You know that they're outside of the Tyrannosaurus paddock. You see the goat disappear, the goat leg falls down, you see her hand on the electric wire fence, you know that the power's out, and then you're revealed to the T-Rex, who is the animatronic, the Roberta, first. So that kind of, tricks your mind into believing that this is actually there because it actually is. Whereas with the Giganotosaurus, everybody's kind of talking in the same, like things are absolutely normal, and then suddenly it's here. And you're just kind of revealed that, oh no, it's the Giganotosaurus. It's the biggest carnivore that the world has ever seen. One really allows time for us to kind of take everything that's happening, of course, with the water shake and again, just the overall build up to what we know is going to happen, whereas the other one just kind of comes out of nowhere. You don't really have time to be afraid of this thing that's coming. You're more so just kind of like momentarily shocked, and that's about as far as it goes. Next is the establishment of the threat. I want to look at the Giganotosaurus. Its introduction is led with, what is that? Giganotosaurus, the largest carnivore the world has ever seen. That's a pretty bad introduction. First of all, ever since Jurassic Park 3, they've always gone for the whole, this theropod is bigger than T.rex, to establish these dinosaurs as just being bigger and better overall. And I think that's something that really needs to go extinct, essentially. Because first of all, on average, T.rex was likely bigger than Giganotosaurus. That's not something that really needs to be held to that standard. And it's just a lame comparison. Always comparing things to Tyrannosaurus Rex. Like, that doesn't even say much in and of itself. Even if Giganotosaurus was bigger, T-Rex still has the stronger bite force. T-Rex would have been a lot more robust. T-Rex would have probably been the better predator overall, so you're really not doing much. You're just really kind of just trying to top what had already been done. And ever since the Spinosaurus in Jurassic Park 3, that's always been their go-to. Spinosaurus, bigger than T-Rex. Indominus Rex, it'll be bigger than T-Rex. Giganotosaurus, oh, this is bigger. Gets old after a while. In the original movie, you didn't essentially need that. Most of the viewing audience will know what a T-Rex is. We'll know it's bad news if she ever got out. And of course, when she did get out, we already know that this is a bad thing. The flaw of the new movie is that they feel like they have to try to top the T-Rex, as I mentioned before. I won't reiterate that, but that's really the inherent problem with it. Next, and this is a big one for me, the overall cinematography and the camera placement. A lot of the shots that are done when the T-Rex breaks out are really tight shots, close in the car. That way you're kind of seeing the main character's perspective of what's happening right now. I mean, you get the establishing shot to really show how big she is compared to the cars, and then after that you go to the tighter shots that really kind of show how screwed everybody is in this kind of situation. The Giganotosaurus, we get a lot of wide angle shots that make sure you see the animatronic, make sure that you see the full CGI model, and make sure you see the whole cast, because of course everybody is here. Obviously this is a completely different situation than when it was in the first movie, but that's still a big problem. Maybe if you kind of focused on a few more people here and there, it might have panned out a little bit more better. But when they finally would go into those tighter shots, everything just doesn't work out that well. And a big one for me is the use of the animatronic, because both of these use an animatronic, some to varying great effects. The use of the animatronic in the first film, to me, is unparalleled. It's perfectly balanced with the CGI shots and the actual animatronic. Of course, for close-up shots, you get the animatronic, you get Roberta, but then for far-away shots, you get the CGI model, and of course, it's all kind of hidden with the lower light and the rain. It's perfectly done. One of my favorite shots is when, right here, when it's the animatronic kind of nudging on the car, the camera pans down And then when she starts walking, then it's the CGI model. It's the perfect blend of all of that that really kind of tricks your mind into believing that you're seeing something that is actually there. If you compare that to the Giganotosaurus scene, there's just way too many shots of the animatronic, an animatronic that can't move that much. And so you have these kind of really awkwardly placed shots where the whole cast is kind of going around the car, and it's very obvious that the Giganotosaurus can get there really quick, but it's kind of taking its time and kind of like growling and roaring a little bit at them, and it all kind of loses its luster, especially when they all start climbing up the ladder, and it just kind of like it finally sprints, but then it gets its jaw caught on the ladder, and then it has to spit that out. And while that happens, everybody else is able to climb up, and everything just moves so slowly. It doesn't really feel like anybody's in any particular danger. In the first film, the animatronic was again used decently sparingly. I mean, there was a lot of shots with it used, but for to interact with the car, it was used. Again, for the close-up shots, it was used. Well, for the wider shots, when you needed just to show more of the animal, that's when it was the CGI shot, and of course, those were used a bit more sparingly as well. All in all, to me, it was a scene that probably could have been handled better and to greater effect if some of these tactics were essentially applied. But the movie kind of moved at a breakneck speed. It would be kind of hard to apply some of these things that made the first film so great to what in actuality is just an action-packed movie.